判決を西洋などここだ無能無能ここだ無駄だくだらないメイン王牽制
Hey guys, Co-op here. This is a continuation to my Abyss series guide. Today we're going to be doing floor 12. There's no divergence as you can see. Chamber 1 has two geovishaps for first and second half. First half is fire and thunder. The second half is ice and water. For chamber 2 we have electro assistant mage and cryo assistant mage. Second half we have our pyro agent along with our treasure hoarders. Okay. And lastly for chamber 3 we have rune guards, dual rune guards. In second half we have two rune graders as well. So just be mindful, you don't want physical DPS here. You want to shred. With elemental damage in mind, both Geovishap rune guards have high physical resistance. I picked Diluc as primary DPS with full Crimson Witch of the Flames set. He's Diluc, he does damage, right? Supported by Mona, who is burst DPS attack damage buffer with Omen, creates sustained Hydro Aura with her E skill. She's also using a broken set with a target crit rate of 65 to 70% as her ult is too high stake not to crit. And we have Venti with full support, veridencent shred, favonous warbow, and 30 to 40% crit rate to proc the passive generating energy to cycle everyone else's elemental burst. Lastly, we have our gentleman here, Mr. Benny Boy. He is full support with max level energy recharge weapon, energy recharge sands. Cycling his ult is the most important thing. Target energy is 180 to 230%. Only the base attack and energy recharge matters as ulti spamming and scaling. Ideally, you want to start with Venti ult, turning into Pyro Shred, Bennett attack buff, Mona ult Vaporize, rotating to her E skill for Hydro Aura, then rotating to Diluc with his 3 E skills stacking % pyro damage from Crimson Witch of the Flame set, and closing with his Elemental Burst. Now for Team 2. I picked Xiao for Anemo DPS with Cryo Shield composition in mind. Anemo has a unique trait of spreading elements from mob to mob, which we'll take advantage of in later stages. He has the Skyward Spine for faster burst cycling. Next, we have Albedo as support with a 3-star weapon that gives % crit damage and 28% crit when HP is above 90%. The rest of his artifacts are % defense main stat to maximize crystallized damage and shields. His job is to drop the E and support Xiao. Chongyun's job is to convert Xiao's auto into cryo with his E skill aura, which gives Xiao the ability to generate shield with Albedo's aura. He provides attack speed and cooldown reduction buff with Constellation 2. Lastly, we have Diona as full support to round out the party and be the second cryo character for aura, healer, and shield generator. This comp we initiate with Chongyun's E for attack speed, cooldown reduction, and cryo aura. Stack Albedo's E aura for crystallized cryo shield. Then use Diona's burst for healing, rotating to shield generating 12 seconds to protect Xiao while he's under his burst. Notice how the field is interacting with Albedo's aura to generate an extended shield for Xiao mid-burst, keeping him healthy. While under Anemo form, he spreads cryo, giving him a 15% crit buff while attacking. Constant generation of shields allows for an increased mitigation of damage, reducing the need to heal. With that in mind, I'll see you guys on the other side. Floor 12, Chamber 1 has 2 geovishaps, 1 thunder, and 1 fire. This is a pretty straightforward DPS floor. Ideally you want to fight them towards the corners of the room. This prevents them from bouncing around and wanting to jump everywhere. chasing them will just give you a hard time and a pretty sad yes. As you whittle them down and their HP drops, notice how eventually they go Super Saiyan, right? They develop elemental auras which you can interact to, and so what you want to do is you want to take advantage of this. And you'll see how we do this with round 2. So for floor 12, chamber 1, second half, we have another 2 big roly-polies. Well, geovishaps. And the difference between this one and the other 2 are they are cryo, one, and the other is hydro. What we're gonna do, you'll see later, is abuse these 2 elements and create crowd control when in theory we don't have any characters that have crowd control by generating freeze with swirl as it spreads ice and water, and our autos are imbued with cryo element, and you'll see it work out here. What I was thinking about was, how would this floor be like if you did this without shields and not having anything to prevent the stagger? I think this would be a little bit more difficult. Initially I used Razor as a DPS, not realizing how high the resistance was. I'm curious, what did you guys try at first to clear this? Cleared it? Maybe, maybe not. But still, share. I'd like to know. Floor 12, chamber 2, we have 2 Sassin mages. You want to kill the ice one first, but I wanted to play baseball, so here it is. And here we have the cryo mage. You want to break the shield as best as you can, using characters like Venti to create swirl is particularly effective at destroying these shields when it lands. And here we have them finally stack, and we begin our burst cycling. You have the Electro Mage just walking to you, and she basically just comes. And you pray she gets sucked into the Venti ult, and you can Mona ult both of them and whack them with the Diluc. No, seriously though, you want them to stack, okay? This just makes it easier for you to burst them down. For floor 12, chamber 2, second half, you have 2 ninjas, and they're here to basically assassinate you. You want to pay attention to the one that has a passive. I don't know where he went, but he has a passive, and there he is. Notice how it creates a fire aura that just launches at you and causes constant explosions. So you need to be mindful of this, as it will kill you. And the second that you have the opportunity to burst them down, you should. Here I fight them at the corner of the room, as this gives them less room to run around and dash, and I will just proceed to burst the best I can. I realize I'm basically dying, So I attempt to run the clock as best as I can while healing my characters to the best of my ability to set myself up for the next floor. And I do cut it pretty close here. Literally, what it felt like was I was playing chicken with the clock. And somehow, it worked out. Just watch me fumble right here. Lastly, floor 12, chamber 3, part 1, or first half. And we have two big giant robos that like to clap you and fire missiles at you. So you want to basically kill them, especially the one with this aura. Here, you see those little waves? Does 3,000 each, and that will kill you if you don't have enough sustain. So be mindful of it, prioritize that robot, and try to synergize, or at least attempt to be mindful of your rotation. As this comp, you rotate between pyro, hydro, pyro, hydro, so it's not too difficult, and the rotation is not too set in stone. But you do want to prioritize this robot as that sand quake thing, not fun. And surprise, surprise, chamber 3 second half, we had two bigger robots, right? This one has an aura underneath it, creates an ice trap. Be mindful of it, don't get hit or you're dead, okay? Or you can have shields and you can pretty much ignore it if your shield is strong enough. Both rune graders have 2 weak spots, each on their knee, which Xiao triggers nicely here with his spikes as he ults. Or if you have a range carry, you can hit them in the eyeball. I don't have the luxury of owning a range carry like Ganyu, so I will stick to my Xiao, who just jumps and jumps. The shields basically grant me immunity from their attacks. I don't get staggered, I don't really lose that much HP because of the constant shields that's generated. And poor Diona. If you made it this far, leave like, subscribe, and comment suggestions. I'll be looking forward to them. I'll see you guys till the next one.